Earthquakes are mainly caused by two tectonic plates coming apart and rubbing against each other. This starts a shaking sensation, also known as an earthquake. This causes most of the earthquakes. Volcanoes are also caused by the movement of tectonic plates. Earthquakes can be man-made by construction flaws, also known as fracking. Fracking is when construction men make a deep well and put water chemicals in it, and this makes oil, which breaks a concrete rock underground to start an earthquake. Most earthquakes in Oklahoma are man-made earthquakes. When an earthquake occurs, it could turn a road into a big wall. One of the effects of earthquakes are aftershocks. Aftershocks last for about 15 seconds. Aftershocks can be extremely dangerous. Over 500 people died in some earthquakes. The San Francisco earthquake of 1906, the ground opened up and swallowed buildings.
The effects of earthquakes can sometimes be more dangerous than the actual earthquake. As an example, some earthquakes can also cause tsunamis. Tsunamis are big waves that can destroy land and kill people. In conclusion, this shows that earthquakes' effects can be really dangerous. To stay safe in an earthquake, you need food, water, a strong house, and finally common sense. Also, you must try to get to a strong table and grip it tight. Stay away from stuff that can fall on you. Try to cover your head and neck. Take the stairs and stay away from dangerous stuff. Try to put concrete on your walls and put bedrock under your house. Although it may cost a lot of money, it is worth it. Also, bolt the big furniture and things that can fall. These are the ways to stay safe during an earthquake.
The seismograph measures the strength, duration, and frequency of seismic waves. The Richter scale measures the damage that was done. The lowest ranking is 1 and the highest is 10. 2.0 and below means that people don't usually feel the earthquakes. These earthquakes are not recorded. Below 4.0 can be felt, but usually it causes little or no damage. Above 5.0 can cause some damage and is felt by all. Over 6.0 means that the earthquake can cause serious damage to buildings. Over 7.0 means that is a major earthquake and causes severe damage. Earthquakes this level can knock over buildings in a large area. Over 8.0 is almost total destruction over a wide area. The Indonesian Sumatra Andaman earthquake of 2004 was the longest earthquake, 10 minutes or 560 seconds.
Friday, March 27th, 5:36, Alaska. Told from perspective of 10-year-old Matt Burns. I suddenly felt a shaking sensation in the house. I recognized this shaking feeling. It was an earthquake. At first, I wasn't scared. I had faced an earthquake once before, a couple years before when I was 8, but right now I was reading, and for some reason I was standing up, but suddenly I couldn't even stand now. I had to crawl on my feet. My family came downstairs right away, and we went into the living room because it had the least big objects. As we all ran under a sturdy table, a crash came from outside. My dad crawled to the nearest window and peeked outside. A tsunami was here too. Maybe I can climb out of the window and climb onto the roof. I know it did sound crazy, but we did it. My parents agreed right away because my sister was yelling and screaming, and it was because she was deadly scared of earthquakes. As we climbed up, I saw the other houses which were ripped off their foundation. Cars bopped up and down in the water. Dad was in the last one on the roof. As he did, a wave hit. I was worried. This earthquake caused tons of destruction. But after 2 hours of bobbing up and down in the water, a lifeboat came. I was so happy. We were rescued.
Earthquakes are not as easy to predict as volcanoes and other natural disasters, but scientists have a few ways to predict earthquakes. Laser beams are sometimes used to detect plates' movements. A seismometer picks up vibrations in the Earth's crust. If there is a sudden increase in vibrations, it could mean that an earthquake is coming. There is also a way to detect radon gases when they will escape through the cracks in Earth crusts. A sudden increase may suggest that an earthquake will come. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a Chinese astronomer named Zhang Heng invented the first earthquake detector, known as a dragon detector. The detector was a bronze pot with dragon heads. There was a metal ball in each of the dragon's mouth. When the ground shook, a metal ball fell into the mouth of a metal toad below. The dragon with the empty mouth points in the direction of the earthquake. The detector could detect earthquakes that were 370 miles or 600 kilometers away. It may sound crazy, but animals can predict earthquakes too. When cows sense earthquakes, they get stressed and produce less milk. Dogs bark wildly when they sense an earthquake. Snakes, mice, and rats come out of their own holes when they know an earthquake is coming. Scientists collect information by satellites all over Earth. Special cameras are placed in a satellite to measure the shapes of the Earth's crusts. If the measurements show small changes, it could warn an earthquake. There are many ways to predict earthquakes.
The 1906 San Francisco earthquake was on April 18th, Monday at midnight 5:12. It was 8.0 on the Richter scale, and it was so powerful the shockwaves were felt from Oregon, Los Angeles, and even the center of Nevada. This earthquake lasted about 45 to 60 seconds, not including the shockwaves. In the earthquake, the streets rippled like a boat in a stormy sea. The ground cracked and broke. The buildings collapsed and toppled, and that caused people to get trapped under the bits of broken buildings. In 3 days and nights, gas started fires. Firefighters used dynamite to stop the fires in the quake and to blow up the buildings, but they only succeeded in making new burning flames. The earthquake burst water mains, so since the water supply was damaged in this earthquake, they couldn't find a way to stop the fires. The fires damaged about 90% of San Francisco, and what didn't get demolished by the quake got destroyed in the fires. This natural disaster cost tons of money. Actually, 20 million in property damage and 400 million in damage for the fires that blazed after the quake. And almost 30,000 buildings collapsed and broke, leaving half of the residents in the city homeless. It damaged 375,000 square feet. This devastating earthquake caused 3,000 people to die as a new death toll, and the San Francisco earthquake was one of the worst earthquakes of U.S. history.